which will help out quite a bit. But now, Banshee's coming out for Strelok. Gonna try to transition over now that he knows DemusliM is strictly a massive Marauder army. So good move by Strelok, but is it going to be enough? DemusliM is going to be moving in and taking out pretty much the only base outside of this gold, but the gold isn't even saturated. This is really bad for Strelok at this point. He cannot lose this base right now. Looking at the income tab, DemusliM was forced to stop. There was a ton of damage being done to the backside of DemusliM there. Action going on everywhere around the map, but almost every SCV just going down. Not going to be able to escape the Marauders at this point. These Vikings have been doing a great deal of damage to DemusliM's income at this point. So both players taking trades on both sides. Wow, a ton of SCVs went down. So I'd imagine that almost all of DemusliM's forces were being spent to fight, and almost all of DemusliM's SCVs were here, lost to the Viking raid. And right now both players just kind of hovering. 14 Harvesters versus 21. DemusliM, looking at the army tab, they're about even. So epic game for both sides. Constant back and forth right now, although this is going to be a big problem. What mining is left for Strelok? Strelok really doesn't have anything left at this point. Trying to fly it off to the island, and everything just going down. Strelok no longer mining any minerals at all. How much does he have left? He has about 1,000. He has no gas in right now, so can only pump out Hellions and Marines at this point. Trying to pump out as many as possible. This might be the last stand for Strelok. Can he hold off on these forces? He does not have any medvacs. He one medvac coming out on his own, but way too many morales out. And it looks like, oh, here come the Banshees to save the day. Can these Banshees hold it off in time for Strelok to start mining more? The Marauders are trying to sprint it. They stim themselves to sprint out of there as fast as they can. Back on the map, it looks like DemusliM just kind of using his mules as best he can to establish himself, and going to be floating his main expansion out too. So both players just starving. 11 Harvesters out on the map. And Strelok now going to be regaining some harvesting by throwing down the mules. Going to be taking his gold back. Again, this gold is almost mined out at this point. Both players just kind of constantly harassing each other and being able to take each other out. I think DemusliM kind of unfortunately had to let that happen because his army was already all the way across the map. So lost a lot of SCVs in that battle. And now just calming down just a little bit as both players realize that they really need to establish. Strelok going to be dropping with this force and just trying to take out as many Harvesters as possible. Strelok almost with no Harvesters himself, only has 5. But the mule's able to come in there, trying to take out this. Oh, this command center is about to fall, and it does a great job by Strelok, still putting on the pressure on his opponent, even though he's barely able to mine himself, is able to get some more income now, and just has been pumping out tons of Marines with all the resources he has almost no gas streaming in at this point. Finally going to be getting some gas here and there, but mostly trying to get his unit count up. Looking at the army tab, 64 over 50 in the late game. Both players have done significant damage to each other's economy, so we're almost back to the start of the game in terms of army size and composition, and everything's going to be a micro game at this point. Now, DemusliM's only response to the Banshees are these Vikings, and these Vikings have to be very careful, because if they run into this huge ball of Marines, they're just going to be plowed down, and DemusliM's not going to have any way to fight against those Banshees. So he has to micro these Vikings incredibly well, and I think Strelok is just trying to get rid of these Vikings in the air. Once he does, he's going to have some major supremacy. Oh, the missile turret's going down just a little bit too late. This is not good for Strelok at all. Everything going to be going down here. He is not mining at this point. There is nothing going on for him. Once this harvester count updates, I don't think he's going to be going anywhere. And finally, the big bio ball pushing out for Strelok, going to be making a big push, taking out the expansions as well. Both players know how critical it is to hold your expansions in the late game. And here they go. Tons of Marines are firing across the way. Is it going to be enough? The Banshees are coming down as well, and everything starts falling for DemusliM. So great job by Strelok, able to take out that force, able to take out DemusliM's force, and up the Vikings go into the air. These Banshees need to be very careful to stay away from the Vikings. The Vikings need to be careful to stay away from the Marines, the mass Marine forces of Strelok. But Strelok at this point, what does he have? He has one base in his mining, like pretty much right at the very beginning. What is DemusliM doing? He just flew it right into it. That was a really bad move wow, DemusliM, very uncharacteristic of him at that point. Might have been paying attention somewhere else, unfortunately, but just basically lost all his Vikings to Strelok's forces. Those Vikings were critical for him to push ahead. Now only has 2 Vikings left. There are only 2 Banshees in the air though, so depending on how this timing goes down, Banshees critical. I think, oh man, what's going to happen here? DemusliM now losing his forces, and the Viking trying to do his best to take it down, but the Marines again being able to deal enough damage, and both players barely mining at this point, barely having any units. It's become almost like a Warcraft 3 game where army on army, it's like the upkeep kicked in, and now it's just a micro battle from both sides. Command centers just constantly being built on both sides. Strelok wants to take this expansion as much as possible. No defense from DemusliM. The gold completely mined out. He's trying to take this one, but it's going to be way too difficult. Now he's trying to move somewhere else as well. Both players are kind of giving up on the island expansion. DemusliM not even mining at all at this point. Has an army of what? Has 6 Marauders and 3 Medvacs. The 2 Banshees will wipe this entire force out. DemusliM still not overly concerned with those Banshees up in the air. And where is the action going? Oh, they're trying to get rid of that command center. Does fall. He does see these 2. And trying to take out all the ground forces of Strelok if he can. Does take him out, but now it's just going to be susceptible to... Oh, going to be picking up in the air. Smart move by DemusliM. Doesn't want them blasted, but does want to wipe out every ground force he can. And now going to be moving in on Strelok. They both have a really good sense of what the opponent's army is. I mean, I think they both have crippled each other so badly that looking at the income tab, 7 Harvesters, 4 DemusliM, and 4 Harvesters. And here we go, one of the major pushes by DemusliM. Is it going to be enough? Trying to kite around, and no, the massive Marines are going to be able to hold up right now. DemusliM just kind of dropping down his forces. Those Banshees are just going to be finally some Marines for DemusliM, but not going to be enough. I mean, those Marines are going to fall pretty quickly to the Banshees at this point. Both Banshees still very, very healthy. And finally, look at that, 7 Harvesters over 5 Harvesters. We are roughly 40 minutes into the game. Huge, epic game. Neither side wants to give up. Both players trying to do as best as they can. Now coming down to a very, very intense micro game from both sides. Every unit really matters right now, and they shouldn't let any go down. Oh, the Marauder does go down, and trying to take out as many Marine units as possible, but now Strelok's still up ahead a little bit. How many minerals do they have? They barely have any minerals to pump out SCVs, let alone get more units out right now too. So Strelok is able to mine, almost done mining with this expansion. 7 Harvesters on both sides, and DemusliM was able to save up a bunch of forces. Marines and Banshees. These Banshees are huge for Strelok. 10 kills, 17 kills. One is a captain right here, and these have been so crucial to Strelok trying to stay alive at this point. But now DemusliM going to be switching up finally to a Marine army himself. And this might be like, he doesn't have anything left. There are no command centers left. This is the last push from DemusliM. This is crazy. This is an absolutely crazy game. 0 Harvesters. He has no base. He will be revealed completely. Can these Marines do it? Can these Marines take him down? And all the Marines going down with the medevacs healing from behind. Once that Banshee falls, this is not good for Strelok, and this is the last base of Strelok as well. No, he does have this one here too, so if he can defend that natural, that will be good for him. DemusliM has nothing. He has nothing left. This is his only army. Can he win with 8 Marines and 2 medevacs? He has no SCVs out on the ground, no command centers, and not enough money to build another one. It's all down to the line for DemusliM right now on this game. And it looks like, is there any income? There is income for, I mean, I would have to give this to Strelok at this point because he does have income coming in. Here come this Marine army trying to blast away at the base of Strelok. Look at DemusliM trying to kite. Poor Marines, they had to save the day. Can they do it? And Strelok, I think, just trying to he wants to focus on keeping this alive. This is the most important thing to him right now. He is mining, and his opponent is not mining. So, oh, DemusliM just decides, he sees what's going on, sees the barracks is lifting, and oh no, this is going to be really bad for Strelok if these ground forces land. Banshee up in the air, but that's about it. There is one bunker. Is this bunker going to be enough to hold off on these Marines? Wow, this is a crazy game. We are 40 minutes into the game, and DemusliM only has 8 Marine units, not going to give up at all. He cannot harvest anymore. And that bunker, unfortunately, out of place. Going up in there, neither player harvesting it right now. And looking at the unit tab, there is It's a 4-Marine army. It's 7 Marines. One of them has died. The Banshee trying to get in as best as he can. Will it be enough to really hold out? Strelok just wants to get more Marines. That's all he needs. It's like a handful of Marines out on the ground. And wow, the Muslim doesn't want to overextend himself. That bunker standing right there, very hard to see. It's a massive, this is a tiny micro battle to end a huge epic game on both sides. The Muslim just trying to take out, does not want these barracks to pump out any sort of Marines at all. And wow, Strelok very frustrated, doesn't want to jump out, does finally sneak out one more Marine from that, sneaking out just a handful of Marines more, and it's down to 6 Marines for DemusliM, 7 Marines and a Banshee, and he even has a medvac. Strelok looks poised to take this game, and he has the SCVs out on the ground too. Right now, a crucial battle. DemusliM trying to get away as much as possible. Can he survive? No, looks like he's going to be going down. Picks it up into the air. Well, if that medvac falls, it's pretty much game. Is shooting away down to the last Marine, and the Marine is picked up by DemusliM. 1 Marine and 1 medevac for DemusliM. I had to give this to Strelok at this point. I'm not sure why DemusliM's not GGing. This is heart right here. He really has some heart to try to take this out. Not going to be able to take everything out right now. And DemusliM just trying his best, spraying away. But now that Strelok is able to get some units out, here comes the GG. Once this Marine died, there's going to be a GG from DemusliM. So wow, epic game from both sides. DemusliM not going to give up, and almost looked like he might have had it at that point, but Strelok pumping out Marines to the bitter end and takes it. So great game from both sides. It looks like it's going to be 1-1 for DemusliM and Strelok at this point. So going to be casting the next game. This has been JCS Starcraft signing off.